The Celtics, y'all, they are the first team to officially punch their ticket to the conference finals. So let's get right to it, because the Celtics, they handled their business last night, or as Perk would say, stood on business. But I like the trolling beforehand. Max Struz trolling Boston fans with a Panthers jersey. Celtics are 29-0, went up 3-1. So yeah, they felt confident walking in. And in the first quarter, Jason Tatum, Perk, is he trending finally to being that guy for Boston?
He needs to be, and you know what? Over the last few games, he's been doing an excellent job of attacking downhill. But you know who else been doing an excellent job?
Who?
Old man Al Horford.
There it is. Are you older than Al Horford?
Yeah, I am.
Just barely?
Just barely.
Hey, as long as he can bring out these vintage games, JC, hit the three right there. Get off me.
The day, if you say you want to win, everybody wants to win until it's really time to win, because then you got to nut up and do a bunch of shit that you don't want to do. So the guys, credit to them, they consistently do that, and we just have to keep that up. Every game's going to be different. Every series is going to be different, regardless of who we play. Is going to be different sub-patterns, different matchups, different lineups. Just got to do it.
Pressure's on everyone, from players to coach. Just got to do it. The Celtics have largely been dominant throughout this postseason run, even if their opponents have missed key pieces. But we ain't going to talk about that just yet, because Boston has won 5 of their 8 games by 15 or more points. So it hasn't been close no matter who has played. And now they find themselves back in the conference finals again. So Boston really hasn't broken a sweat so far in the East, but you can only play the teams that are right in front of you. So, Perk, what is your grade for the Celtics so far throughout the playoffs?
I mean, you want my honest grade?
Always.
Yes.
I mean, because, you know, I don't want the Boston fans and the Boston media getting in their feelings, because I'm not about to give them an A or A+. I'm going to give them a B+.
Yeah, that's about right.
Because the expectations, again, for them is winning the championship and completing the mission. Have they shown signs at times and playing in spurts at an elite level? Absolutely. But you go against a Miami Heat team missing their best player in Jimmy Butler. Okay, you beat them in 5. Kudos to you. Okay, then you play the Cavs, right? No Jared Allen, no Donovan Mitchell the last 2 games. Caris LeVert go out. Okay, you want a cookie? I got one for that. I got you for that. But at the end of the day, it's not what they're going to do in the first round, second round, third round. It's what they're going to do when they get to the 4th round. And if you're the Boston Celtics, the only thing you could do is control what you can control, meaning every single night there, especially when you're in the Eastern Conference and you're night and day better than everybody else, you got to continue to get better at what you do. So then when you do face a giant that's coming out of the Western Conference, you're prepared.
So listen, Perk, I woke up on the right side of the bed today, where my glass was half full, and I have a different take on this whole thing. They haven't been world beaters, and we don't know what they've really done, because Jimmy was out, and then Donovan was out, and Jared Allen. Okay, but what happened in 2022 when they played the Warriors? What did Jason Tatum say in that series when the series was decided after the Warriors come back? He ran out of gas. Yes. He did not have his legs. So when you could look at this and say, okay, they haven't been blowing the doors off, they haven't been that great yet, but they've also been taking care of business. They win in 5. Jason Tatum is rested. Kristaps Porzingis has been able to recover from that calf injury with no pressure to come back until he is ready. They're going into the Eastern Conference Finals healthy and fresh. And when, as you talked about, the Celtics season comes down to what if they make the finals and if they win the finals. And they need to be as fresh as possible going in there. So I think they've been great getting into this position in the best possible way.
What was your grade?
Oh, I'll give him a B+ too.
Okay, so we got B's. Yeah. The only thing that would make it an A to me would be if they played top quality opponents that were at full strength. And I found this note really interesting, Tim, because the Celtics played their 6th postseason game in which their opponent was missing a 20 points per game score from the regular season. So is there any concern that the Celtics haven't truly been battle tested?
Yeah, look, you'd like them obviously to see some danger before they get potentially to the finals and play somebody out of the Western Conference. And here's the one thing I will say. They've really been in a little bit of trouble twice, right? Game 2, both rounds, they lose at home. 2 inferior teams. They lose to the Heat, and the night the Heat set the record, made 3s in that game, and then they lose Game 2 in this series to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So they lost home court advantage, even though they won 64 games, for a quick minute. And then to me, the response to that is really the best sign we've seen out of Boston, which was in both cases, Miami go down there, not just win the game, smoke them in game 3 and squash all noise and then go on to win the next 2 and end the series. They did the exact same thing in the Cleveland series. They win game 3 decisively. They go on to win the next 2. So their answer to adversity has been pretty good so far. It just hasn't been real significant adversity. And look, they can't create drama that either you get threatened or you don't. They haven't faced anybody yet that can. I do think they're going to face a bigger test in the next round, regardless of who comes out. And then obviously the ultimate challenge will come if they end up in the NBA Finals.
I do think that could be different this year. A, they have Porzingis, and if he's able to come back healthy, he gives them an advantage that they have never had before. And B, they should be rested.
And speaking of Porzingis, I know you and I differ on how we view his impact with the Celtics, but before yesterday's games, Kristaps Porzingis posted this to his Instagram with the simple caption, quote, "every day trending up." He has been out with that calf strain suffered against the Heat in the first round about 2.5 weeks ago. So if KP returns this postseason, here are some key dates. Stay locked with me for a sec. If the Knicks and Nuggets finish their series in 6 games, the East Finals will begin on May 19th. If not, then it will be May 21st, which would give Boston 5 days off. You can also see the turnaround there from the conference finals to the NBA Finals as well.
Look, I spoke to Porzingis the other day, and he said, "How you do?" I saw his Instagram post, and he said he's been doing better the last couple of days. He's seen some real progress in the next couple of days, but in order for him to get back on the court, he's going to have to pass a series of thresholds from the team medical staff. They're not going to let him out there until they're sure that calf is ready to go 100%.
But Perk, do you think that the Celtics should be able to win a championship even if Porzingis is not on the floor?
No, they need him.
Yeah.
He's a valuable piece, especially, and I'm just throwing it out there, if they happen to face the defending champions and the MVP and Nikola Jokic, you're going to need Kristaps Porzingis. But again, we're talking about a similar injury or the same injury that Giannis had. We heard what Giannis said after the season. I want to go back to Jason Tatum's comments about people got to allow them to grow.
Right.
Okay? No, that's not the case. We're not the ones that's rushing the issue. The city of Boston, the ownership group, right? Brad Stevens, they're the ones that are pushing the issue because they know the expectations are high. So when you go out and you trade a Marcus Smart, you trade when you trade a Malcolm Brogdon, right, and you bring in a Drew Holiday and you bring in a Kristaps Porzingis, every single season, this team, this organization has done a great job of making sure they surround Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown with the necessary pieces to do what? Go and win a championship. So I know, right, like, the expectations are there because they had so much success at a young age, but they're here now, right? And they got to get it done.
And this is now the window. Like, this is when you project out. Okay, he's 26 now.
Yeah.
Not 21 or 22, it's 26.
But the cool thing is that there's been a plot twist because we talked about the pressure on the winning side. How about the pressure, though, on the losing side? Because the Cavs, they were crushed with injuries in this series. And the biggest question will now center on Donovan Mitchell. He's under contract for next season, and now he has a player option the following year. He is eligible for a 4-year, $208 million extension this offseason. But if the Cavs don't see a long-term future with Donovan, it makes him a very intriguing trade target this offseason. So, Perk, yesterday you said there was a 100% chance that Donovan was leaving Cleveland. Why?
I mean, for the simple fact that I feel like the Cavs are going to have to make a business decision whether they want to go with Bickerstaff or Donovan Mitchell, because it's no secret that those two guys don't see eye to eye. Right? It's not Darius Garland or Evan Mobley that have a problem with JB. It's Donovan Mitchell. And if you're Cleveland, do you want to sacrifice JB, who has done an outstanding job with this team, right, for Donovan Mitchell? I don't know. Like, I don't know if Donovan Mitchell is ever going to deliver a championship in Cleveland with this roster. So at the end of the day, I'm looking at him and I'm looking at this situation. He hasn't signed the extension. I'm looking at the teams out there that are searching for that third star, and Los Angeles Lakers come to mind. I'm looking at the Los Angeles Lakers. They have some nice pieces. When you talk about Austin Reeves, right, being the focal point, he'll be a nice fit on the Cavs. But you put Donovan Mitchell alongside Anthony Davis and LeBron James, if LeBron James resigns, right, then you got magic.
Yeah, but Legs, honestly, like, Donovan Mitchell could truly be a championship piece. Where is the best place for him to win? Is it still in Cleveland?
It's definitely not in Cleveland. So that's why I think Perk makes some good points. Another point is I don't think Donovan Mitchell is going to look at that situation and think this is somewhere he can break through. I think Donovan Mitchell's done a lot as an individual player in this league, and he can continue to stay in Cleveland, and he can continue to lead them in scoring. And you know what's going to happen? He's going to have to beat his head against the wall that looks like the Boston Celtics, that looks like Philadelphia when they get Embiid back, and they can sign an additional max player in Philly. You got to beat your head against the Milwaukee Bucks, getting Giannis back, Lillard, Doc Rivers with a full year with that group, a young Orlando Magic team that you just battled 7 games with. You know the Miami Heat are always going to be in the mix, right? So I just think as the best player there, that's what you're going to face. Or do you go somewhere with a couple of guys on a roster that are your peers on that level where you don't have to do that every night, and now you're just more of like a cog in the machine that can go potentially compete for a championship? I think that's where Donovan Mitchell is going to look around and understand that's going to be his best opportunity. Whether that's with the Lakers, they're going to get all kinds of talk related to that. The Heat are going to come up with that. Brooklyn's not in that category, but I think Brooklyn's another team. You're going to hear a lot about Donovan Mitchell going to Brooklyn. The Knicks are always going to come up, but I don't know that that's viable anymore with what Brunson has turned into. So yes, there are other opportunities for him to maybe not go be the man, but be a co-star with another star player and have a better chance to compete and contend.